Well, not yet. There we go.
Hello, good evening, and welcome for the 150th time and counting. Welcome to the Australian Transformers Weekly podcast. We are the paragon of professionalism for Transformers news in Australia. I believe last time I did that, someone burped. But yeah, this is, of course, episode 150. Everyone's keeping very quiet in the background, which I wasn't really expecting. We are recording live on April 28th, 2018. We usually record on a Friday night. Today we are recording on a Saturday afternoon, which means that you can expect 478% less falling asleep in the podcast.
Alertness.
Yeah, look, I'm not guaranteeing anything. I am pretty tired, but yeah. In this episode, we will be talking about Power of the Primes, the machinima series. Apologies in advance for that. There are two new third-party masterpiece scaled seekers on the way from different companies. There's a new wrecker coming in to join the fight, and maybe there's some Bumblebee news. Yeah. All that and more is coming up after this. All right, we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, welcome to the show. I am Jason. This is our 150th show, so we have four of us on this week to celebrate and chat and have our opinions about Transformers. Joining us from Queensland, we have John Ryan. How are you doing, John?
Good, guys. Good to be here for the.
John's muted himself. This has gone well early. No, John, we can't hear anything you're saying. I can see you. I could tell what you just said, but it didn't come through. We can actually do the entire podcast with John miming. But yeah, no, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to blame Unicron sitting over your shoulder. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just check your Hangout settings, see if you're muted or not. Yeah.
God, the timing on that.
you just can't fault it.
Yeah.
Brad, did you mute him by mistake when you turned his volume on?
No, I just unmuted and I've unmuted and muted him through Hangouts, so it's microphone.
What's going on?
John, say something.
I'm trying.
Oh my god!
He's gone. He's gone. This has gone well early.
The average episode of Off the Shelf.
Let's see what happens if John dials back in. Is John dialing back in? Like, has anyone checked? There we are.
There he is.
Can you hear me now, though?
Yes, there we go.
Yes.
See, it must be my computer then that's actually got a problem because it's not on mute.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, I was going to buy a new PC soon, so it'll just have to do this episode, and then I'll buy that new next.
I'm just going to blame Hangouts as well. But you do have a hot new microphone, so that's cool. We can hear you very clearly now.
Yeah, excellent. I sort of started suspecting you couldn't hear me just before the record was going, and I was trying to go like this. Can you hear and like talking, but because you just couldn't hear me, no one replied.
It's because you were like this 2 centimeter square at the bottom of my screen. So yeah.
But yeah, good to be here and be here for the 150th episode.
Excellent. And if we continue to have microphone problems, it'll stretch into 151. It is good to see the Unicron Shrine behind you is doing well as well.
It is. I was going to try to get the third head down there, the other third-party one, but there's just not enough room for all that Unicron.
Yeah, cool. All right, coming to us from slightly west of me in Sydney, we do have Mikey Siciliano. How you doing, Mikey?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I think I've just said your full name for the first time on the podcast. Did I mangle it?
That was pretty close.
Good.
You just need a kind of Siciliano. You got to give it a bit.
I'm not Italian. I feel like if I did that, then it would be offensive.
Well,
it's like yeah, but you're allowed to. It's like Pizza Ghost on the Joel McHale show, right?
Right. Yeah, no, I've been good. It's I've been really good after seeing the biggest movie ever released. So that was pretty cool.
Yes, you went to see.
Talk about.
You went to see A Quiet Place this week, I believe.
Yeah, it was. I really want to still see that too.
I actually do want to see that.
I'm not a fan of horror, but I actually want to see that.
Yeah.
So
You say you're not a fan of horror, but you've seen all 5 Transformers movies so far.
Oh, and the Machinima series. So yeah, I'd say the Machinima.
The horror.
Exactly.
All right, and coming to us from his undisclosed location in Barnawatha, Victoria, Brad Ostron Mull. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, it didn't work. It changed to me. Good. How you going, guys? Big week.
I'll give you a hint. It changes to you when you make a noise, not when you fake a noise.
Yeah, that failed. Yes, I also seen the biggest movie ever, Justice League, last week, but
God, I feel sorry for you.
It was the biggest something.
yeah, but yeah, it's been a big week, club wise and behind the scenes as well. But 150, we're all here for it. Max is over in Malaysia, and unfortunately the internet connection's probably as bad as the food, so he hasn't been able to get on.
Okay.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm looking at the live stats, and Malaysia just went dark.
Damn, that is some comment right there. Jeez. Have you had a bad experience with this cuisine, Brad?
I've seen Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese. I haven't seen Malaysian on a restaurant, so
Vietnam's the ones that use bugs and stuff, but I'd eat them if I went there. Like I'd try it.
I'd try it. Yeah.
I like crickets and all sorts of weird.
Would you have a tarantula?
I would if I went there. I wouldn't do it here.
You have a tarantula anyway, don't you?
Yeah, and I'm not going to eat mine.
What,
Would you eat your cat?
you're not fattening up for Christmas. I got a lamb at the back that I'm getting fattened up.
I'm more worried about parasites and stuff, but if they're over there frying them and eating them, I'm like, yeah, I'll eat it.
Right.
As long as it's cooked.
Yeah.
Burns the bugs.
A little bit of salt.
Anyway, 150 guys.
Yay! We made it.
I spent. So the reason we didn't do 150 last weekend is that I was busy in Supernova Melbourne. So I had a little bit of so there's a couple of things have gone on for me this week, right? I have, for the first time in attending a trade show or a convention, I have come down with the con cold.
Oh,
Oh, that's
Did it
So
take a while to
not good.
CGI all the people out?
Sorry?
No, I was just wondering how you got a shot with so little people in there. So that must have taken a while for you to.
I'll tell you the secret. Although this looks like a nice welcome to Supernova, I actually took this photo at about 4:50 p.m. on the Sunday, but it still looks like a nice welcome to Supernova, right?
It does.
Yeah. So yeah. This was. I actually took this photo at the end, but hey, it looks just as good for the start, right?
Yeah. No, I wonder if that's you coming down from your arid regions of New South Wales into the cooling off south.
Yeah, well, so I actually wonder if it's not Supernova at all, but also just the fact that Sydney's been blanketed in smoke for the last week and a half.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Anyway, do you want to have a look at some photos?
yes.
I got a series of nice photos that we took at Supernova, and massive thanks to TCCA Victorian rep Simon Chambers for having me on the stand. I had a blast, and it was really good to hang out and combine some of our collections together. And all the people around us said that every time they looked at our stand, there were like 3 or 4 people deep trying to get to our table. So it was really good. It felt really good to be appreciated by people around us as well. And also, big thanks to one of the Supernova organizers. I think he's the guy that you actually email back and forth for the table bookings, Brad. He actually came by and said hi and said that he's really fond of us. So, yeah.
Only as a very poor descriptors here, short of bloke. I think we got a photo of here with him.
No, but it's okay.
Okay, all right. I won't go any further.
Anyway, so Supernova had lots of Pokemon. These were actually pretty cool. I actually took these mostly as a camera test because of all the detail on them, but they look awesome. But they are a little bit beside the point. This was our stand with 2 display cases and a bunch of bots sitting on top of them. And you can see just to the right of us, we had the good folks from Oztrek, and to the left of us, we had the Animega convention doing some cosplay stuff there. So they were lovely neighbors to have for the weekend. So thanks, guys.
An evil Ratchet on the TV screen.
Yeah. Evil Ratchet. He made a few appearances over the course of the weekend. Triticon was on one side of the display stand there, and Metroplex was on the other. So
Nice.
it was really good having these big Transformers on the table. It really helped a lot. Got a lot of attention, and we had this nice thing where we were doing like the old and new representations of characters in the cabinet. So you can see like there's an older Hot Rod, and then there's the Masterpiece Hot Rod. At the time I took this, Alan hadn't turned up with MP10, so there's just old Optimus Primes there, but that's okay.
Himself.
Yeah. Prime's a bit of a loner at the best of times. So there's like old and new Skylinks. There's Ultra Magnus down there. There's Soundwave. You can see all the bots. They've basically just got the newer representation sitting behind the older one. So
almost just like one too. Like Bumblebee's tiny, but then look how big he transforms.
Yeah. That's pretty much how mass shifting in the show works, right? Yeah,
that's how the Bumblebee movie is going to work too.
Mass shifting. This shit makes no sense.
But no, that's fantastic. When we sort of aim to do that, if we can get the figures, just sort of show that progression from G1 up until what the current release of that character is. Yeah,
there's even some Power of the Primes Dinobots in there as well.
Yeah,
cool.
Simon has this amazing collection of just paraphernalia. You can see his Decepto backpack stuff there. There's the Transformers Design Center. I don't even know what this thing over on the left is, but it looks like a G1 Prime head blown up, but with a slightly more modern Transformers logo. I don't even know what it is.
It'd be a money box, wouldn't it? It'd have to be
maybe it is. There's the Hallmark Soundwave figures. These guys, these two things are actually walkie-talkies, or like a corded telephone kind of thing, and
intercom.
not so much an intercom, but these things apparently make US collectors jealous because they're an Australian release, and
wow,
like they never went anywhere except Australia.
Suck it.
Yeah. And there's the real Soundwave cassette deck as well. That's shown up a little bit. That is really cool. There's a thermos and AM FM radio. So it was fantastic to have some of this stuff here. And some people came past and they were just like, "Oh, I had that when I was a kid," and it's pretty amazing. This is the tabletop display, which this part's some of my bots. I brought the Make Toys Swerve, the Iron Factory Sunstreaker and Sideswipe, and a bunch of Transformers Prime figures that I'm not that attached to. So like if they get stolen from a convention table or anything, then it's okay. But the Transformers Prime figures were pretty popular actually. So pretty happy with that. And I've got the DX9 little mini Seekers in the background there as well. As you can see, Bumblebee. Very impressed with Bumblebee.
Nice.
That is, in fact, the Studio Series Bumblebee that he's holding there. You can see the Studio Series Prime. So the number of kids that came past and were dressed as Bumblebee, it was pretty astonishing.
Yeah. Did you have to take multiple shots of that because the Studio Series one kept falling apart?
Yes. No, it was mainly because it was blurry. But yeah, unfortunately, that photo with the look from that woman with the blonde
couldn't focus on the wrong one.
Couldn't really do much about that. But yeah, at one point, Simon did decide that he needed to break out some reading material for us all, so we got all the tech specs out from his collector case.
Bloody hell.
And we had a few furries show up at the stand.
There's always furries.
There's always furries. And yeah, like they bonded with Trypticon pretty well, actually. But yeah,
I always get a cuddle from the wolf. I just got no idea who it is.
Yeah, fair enough. So we also had some. We had a little bit of Transformers cosplay turn up. I do not know this girl's name, but she was doing an excellent Crosshairs cosplay. And yeah, it's a little bit easy, a little bit better when you actually like have a bit of perspective behind them, so you can sort of bring out the background. Also, I'm realizing that as I take these photos and I like go nuts blurring the background, it looks more and more artificial every time. That's pretty amazing, actually. Just it looks like I've literally pasted her on top of a different photo, but no, that was literally in the shot.
Yeah. It's like my first Photoshop where you've got the photo on there and you just can't get the back image to focus or anything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's because I don't usually look at these things blowing up on the big screen.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool. Trypticon is a total sellout. Simon brought along. Actually, the thing that got possibly the most comment out of anything on the stand was Simon's collection of McDonald's Transformers.
They do, yep.
that like people love them. They're called changeables, but as Simon will explain to anyone who comes past the stand, we Transformers fans have adopted them as Transformers, and so Triptychon fed well on that day.
That's great.
We did have sort of a bit of a floppy Optimus Prime turn up to
Floptimus Prime.
greatest, yes, Floptimus Prime. Simon was very excited about it, as you can see, and we even managed to get Optimus on the screen in the background. So it's like it's actually like Primeception going on there. Chris is a little bit distracted by something else going on in the background there. I dutifully finally applied a faction symbol to open and play Big Cannon, and I think he was pretty impressed by it. So. At one point, the Oztrek, the subject of Oztrek's interests came along and invaded our table, and they basically told us that we'd violated the Prime Directive. But I don't think they actually know who Optimus is. I'm not sure that it was the same directive that they're thinking.
Were they next to you guys, like?
Yeah, they were just over to the side of us.
Yeah, because they're normally always next to us, like up in Brisbane and that. So yeah. It's actually the same dudes, and they go to all of them.
Yeah. It could be, but I think they actually have different people around the country do their cons, sort of like we do.
Yeah, nice.
Simon had a working G1 Shockwave. When I say working, obviously it could transform properly, but it also had working electronics, and it was probably one of the most popular things for people to come along and play with on the stand.
Yeah, the kids love grabbing it and shooting.
Yeah, like
noise.
They just love the fact that it makes a space gun noise. And as you can see, Brendan from Brendan's Comics in Melbourne is also quite amused by it as well.
Yeah, better than walking around with G1 Megatron like he normally does.
Yes, yeah. I thought it was a better choice. That's just us. That's the main crew from the stand. Given that we had a G1 Triptychon on the stand, we liked to place it next to things. So I wasn't sure who was actually taking who for a walk here. Could have been K9, could have been Triptychon, but that's okay. And we also had a bit of a concern when Slash started bonding with Triptychon. But yeah, it's like all the Dinobots had like to hang out together. So Slash had a buddy. Bumblebee had a buddy.
Spider-Man.
Metroplex had a buddy as well. And I had a buddy. And so did Simon, although I don't think he's worked out quite so well. And as I think someone pointed out in the group, as I was taking this photo, the guy over on the left in the background is just like, "What the hell is going on?
What are you doing?"
Yeah. Also the girl. There's a growing there's a growing trend here of people in the background of your photos just being, "What the hell?"
Yeah, totally. Like, yeah, but if you're not going to have some fun with it, then who cares? Yeah. This is just a nice little shot of our countertop display there. Just some people coming by and
it's like
talking to us at the stand.
Waving there in that shot. If you go back, see, like
yeah,
waving.
He's waving. No, I think someone had so if you look in his mouth, we put a Snickers bar in his mouth for a joke.
Oh yeah.
What are you looking at?
Triptychon down at the bottom. And we put a Snickers bar in his mouth, so we'd removed the McDonald's things, but left his hands there so that we could put them back.
Nice.
At some point, some LARPers came past. And we gave them a bit of a weapons upgrade.
I wonder if he used the last night.
He's definitely not, because I saw several at the show.
Very good.
And so see, yet another Bumblebee. A lot of the kids that came past the stand, like so many of them were dressed as Bumblebee. It was really cool.
Yeah, kids love Bumblebee, don't they? It's just
they do.
Is it the yellow? Is it the fact?
The fact you can only buy a Bumblebee or Prime costume from Target, that's probably what.
That is true.
It's probably true. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's epic.
Spawn versus Chris. I think I know who's going to win that.
That is so cool.
It took Shockwave Transformers with stands on him.
Yeah, I love Spawn.
Metroplex also decided that it was story time at some point.
and he even had his glasses on.
Yeah, he did. And again, we got someone to take Triptychon for a walk. Look, Triptychon gets bored on the stand. We do need to actually get him out a little bit more, otherwise he just tears things up. And we also had an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. come past to grab an Autobot symbol for her get-up. So official alignment between Autobots and S.H.I.E.L.D.
As it should be.
Very, very cool.
And there's a few, one of these things is a real camera.
It was great to see you take Photron down.
Yeah, we wanted to put Photron there next to Reflector, and then also we put a proper Sony Alpha camera next to them all. I'll give you a hint as to which one's real. It's the one that doesn't have a split in the middle of its lens.
I thought they were all real cameras.
Yeah. And of course, the other problem is that Superion had a bit of a wonky gun. Superion can hit anything as long as it stands slightly to his right.
Yeah.
He's going to sign up for the 501st.
Yeah. Very nice. And that is basically the end of it.
Nice.
There's the exhibitor tag removed and a look back at Supernova. So,
but Jason,
yeah,
is it the end of your conventions for now?
Until I don't know. I don't know what's coming up next. Are we doing Sydney Supernova, Brad?
Wollongong
Comic-Con.
Wollongong Comic-Con. Yeah, we are looking at that in May, aren't we, Mikey?
Yep.
Yes, we are.
So yeah, it should be could be a good weekend away.
Yep.
Or it could be terrible. We don't know.
It could go either way.
We'll work something out. But yeah, so yeah, it was pretty fun. I greatly enjoyed it. Like I said, I have come away with a cold, but a fun weekend was had by all, and a special thank you to Simon and Chris, because they bumped in on Friday when I was not even in Melbourne, and then I ended up having to leave to go to the airport before they bumped out on Sunday afternoon. So yeah, I know it took them a while, and it takes a lot of effort to pack up those cases. So yeah, big thanks to the guys for doing that.
Yeah, good on it.
That was great. Just hanging by on the group, watching the photos come in and seeing what was happening down there. It was great.
I've got to say, I've done 2 conventions, I think, or maybe 3. But I've got to say, hosting the table is always the most fun that I've had at a convention. Like, it's just so much fun to see like people like walk up and say, "Oh, it's cool," or as Jason said, like I had that as a kid or anything like that. But even just like showing it off and getting new members and stuff, it's just so much fun, and just it's a really good time. And I'm quite looking forward to if we actually can get down to Comic-Con this May. But it's a blast. Like, just it's so much fun.
And it is a great amount of effort you guys put in, like, because I think how much effort I put in when I did the Brisbane ones, and I'd only be taking a few boxes of Transformers and just putting them on the table. And that was still.
But even that is effort. So like, you don't belittle yourself. It's still.
Yeah, well, you got to pack your figures away.
No, but that's what I'm saying, that they go to even so much more, like with the cabinets and that. So that's why it does look so good, and it brings everyone in. Like it would be a lot of work. It's
a good amalgamation of people's collections there as well, because we know Simon's a G1 collector and he's not really a masterpiece collector. So, the G1s came from Simon and the masterpieces came from Chris. Some of them came from Alan, and then I've just sort of like blundered in at the last minute with a couple of shoeboxes of Transformers and was like, "Can I put these somewhere?"
Find a space.
Yeah. Basically, find a space. That's why they went up the top. I didn't actually get that much of a photo of it, but we also had some of the original Marvel comics and some of the storybooks from the 80s as well. They were sitting in the top shelf of the cabinet, so they were fantastic to have on display as well.
I love those storybooks.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Should we talk about some Transformers stuff? Should we talk about
news?
Let's look at some bot shots first, right? So. Bot Shots is the photography competition that goes on in the TCCA Facebook group every week. Basically, you are encouraged to get your bots out from behind their glass or out of their boxes and pose them and arrange them somewhere for a photo. I don't actually know who this week's winner was, Brad. Who was this?
Arno Palmer.
Arno Palmer. Well done, Arno. He's got the. I think this is this Big Ben?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. He's
just can't see the clock.
Yeah, it's the Lego Architecture Big Ben set, and he's put the Insecticons up on top, having a bit of a meal.
Was there a G1 episode where they raided London?
I'm not sure. But is that a G2 Seeker down the bottom as well, or is it just like a jet
Transformer as well? Yeah, so it must be a reference. Like.
Yeah, it might be.
Not sure who that is. That's
unknown. We can Google. We can Google it live if we really want to be not very entertaining.
I could just PM him.
Yeah,
that is a That looks like that thing took a while to put together.
Yeah, the Lego architecture sets are really cool. I really like them, but sometimes I kind of feel like they sort of, I don't know, they're a little bit simple in the details. Like, see the Big Ben Tower, it's just like build the same thing 3 or 4 times and stack them on.
Yeah, right.
But that's also what architecture looks like. So
yeah, I mean, you can't unless you can add some pinwheels and like some, I don't know, rocket launchers to it or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah. So yeah, congratulations, Arno, and we do have a monthly draw for a prize for the best photo, or actually, I think it's random for the monthly winner, and then at the end of the year, there's a bigger prize that can be drawn at random as well. But you have to be in it to win it. Get your bots out, take some photos, and post your best photo on Wednesdays in the bot shots thread.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this.
Nice.
I threw this in the outside of the run sheet order. I'm sorry, Mikey. You were saying beforehand that there's some thought that there's a Bumblebee trailer coming soon.
Yeah, I was led to believe from some articles and from some other people's and some Twitter posts that we were going to be getting. Obviously, they're not going to put it on the Wednesday. Well, maybe
they'll enter it into bot shots.
Well, maybe because the hype of Infinity War is still around. I don't even know if that's a reason why they wouldn't put a trailer out. But I mean, the Venom trailer just came out and that was pretty successful. But they said the trailer was coming on Thursday. Someone said it could be Thursday or Friday, and we're at Saturday and we have no news of it so far. But
to be fair, they didn't say which week.
Yeah, true.
And that's just for that event that they got the trailer, so the normal trailer won't drop till
June. But what's been confirmed is we've got a new poster, which, as Jason said before, I think before the show, which looks really, really good.
Yeah, I agree. Like I really like this poster. It's really minimal. It's really simple. And it's just straight. It doesn't even have Transformers on it. It's just Bumblebee.
It could be anything. It could be like a Herbie movie as well. Like I don't know, something like that. But like you can't. It's really good because you can't tell this is a Transformer movie. I mean,
it's actually I would have thought that they might have at least left an Autobot logo on Bumblebee, but
or something. No, it's just completely. It just could be anything. You walk past that and you're not going to be like, hey, Transformers. But what's been confirmed is this poster came out and there's been some footage shown at CinemaCon, which has been very
hush hush,
but it's been very
well received.
Well received, yeah. They've said it's not typical like Michael Bay nonsense. They said there's actually one Twitter user said there's actually some heart to this movie, which I was really looking forward to seeing in the trailer, but I guess we'll just have to wait until we see it. But I'm actually really looking forward to it now, knowing that it's had some decent reviews on the first footage.
Of course, the first footage is not really indicative of the movie, but
that is true because they could be showing you the absolute best part of the movie, and then the rest could be absolute trash. which I think that's what they did for the other movies. Like they show all the best action sequences, and then everything else is just garbage.
But back to the poster. I do like the design of the poster. I like I like everything about this poster. It's really good. It's really well done. I'm very, very, very happy with it. So yeah, I look forward to seeing what happens when these actually go up in public and seeing what people think of them. So,
and if it's possible to steal one,
it probably will be going by past history. Yeah. All right, let's go from talking about one well-received trailer to another thing that definitely had a trailer this week.
Did you not like the trailer?
You know what? I actually liked the trailer.
Yeah, because I only watched it just before the podcast, and I didn't mind what I saw.
So we are talking about Machinima's Power of the Primes series, which is given that Titan's Return was late last year. Power of the Primes is dropping. The first episode is dropping on the 1st of May on their website, which is transformersprimewars.tumblr.com. No idea why they're using Tumblr still, but whatevs. And yeah, there's a fairly action-packed trailer coming up that it looks like it's following on very closely from Titan's Return, and it looks like they're really pushing Megatron into the possible hero role for the final installment of the series.
Did you say that it's coming out May?
Mm-hmm. It's coming out the 1st of May.
Yep.
The first episode.
Yes.
Is just so bad. I think I know that's the shape of his face and that, but with the shadowing and that, it's like, are you trying to smile and be angry at the same time? Like, it's a bad shot.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time that McKenna has been criticized for character design, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Also, is it me or does McKenna have a new logo?
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that lettering on anything before.
No.
But, yeah.
So
there's a lot of returning cast. There's so Mark Hamill is playing Megatronus, and who's Ron Perlman playing?
Maybe Primal.
I don't think he's Primal.
Whoever I had to admit in the trailer, whoever played Primal is doing a good job of it. It sounds decently like Gary Chalk.
I only saw like one line of him. He didn't sound like anything to me, but I don't know. Maybe that's a bit of a Westworld spoiler as well. I don't know. So I actually don't have a frame of reference for Optimus Primal, so I kind of don't care about his performance.
Right.
So fair enough.
And I don't think you should going into this. I just put it here so you can talk about, because I'm completely off this whatsoever. But yeah, I think you should just leave everything you know about what other franchises have done before and just this is its own thing.
Yeah,
it's going to try and be a nostalgia whore and say, look, here's Unicron's head and it's got an eye missing.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Unicron's head was in the trailer as well, just sort of hanging out there in the middle of space. So
I'm always happy to see Unicron's head just hanging out in space.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I'm happy to see Unicron's head hanging out over your shoulder.
Exactly.
But so there's a discussion in the trailer about how they need to find a weapon in order to defeat Megatronus and stop his plans. And I have a sneaking suspicion that Unicron's head is going to play a key role in stopping Megatronus.
They actually said in the trailer it's the Requiem Blaster. So...
Yeah, that's what it's called. I couldn't remember it, and I didn't want to replay it now. The Requiem Blaster, which apparently sounds like it fires funerals at people. But yes,
no, it's Rick Moranis' shrinking ray. They got to get out of the lawn.
Well, the original Requiem Blaster was one of the 3 Minicon combined weapons in Armada, which was
like the Star Saber.
The Star Saber, the Skyboom Shield, and the Requiem Blaster, which the Requiem Blaster was actually the most powerful out of all 3 of them.
Oh, cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, so there's a nod to that. I don't know if it's going to be a Minicon that's going to actually do it, though. But, yeah, so there's a reference to that. It's going to have no reference to...
I'm gonna call it now. There's not going to be any Titan Masters or Minicons or anything in this. Like that, they'll have just forgotten that entirely.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Most likely.
It's just under the rug.
Yeah. And to tie it back to Malaysia, I'm going to call it the Rectum Blaster for my dislike of this franchise.
What?
Wow. Okay.
That's
How does that? I don't know how it ties it back to Malaysia as well.
Exactly. I don't know.
A bad Malaysian food. Bad Malaysian food.
All right. Fair enough.
I got it. I was just speechless.
Yeah, me too. That was.
Yeah. I'm looking at the live stats, and Malaysia has. It didn't drop. It actually just lit up a really angry red. Anyway, we'll be talking about the first episode of this next week, some of us will.
How quick it is! Like I didn't think it was going to come this quickly, and I'm shocked.
So Machinima's usually been releasing their stuff just as the toy line winds up. And you got to wonder whether or not this is also timed for release as the toy line winds up, or if they've actually they've built all of their sets. Like they've obviously spent time modeling certain parts of Cybertron and stuff, and now they don't need to do it anymore, so they can just animate their characters. So yeah, maybe it's just that they're benefiting from the fact that they've actually put the yards into designing it already.
Another thing I wanted to mention in the first clips of the trailer, it looks like, I know it's supposed to be some kind of like forest on Cybertron, which really doesn't make sense to me, but it makes me think of them just being like toys, but like a giant child is playing with like Transformer toys in the grass, because that's kind of like what it looks like.
Yeah,
That's how I shrunk the kids.
Yeah, so there's going to be one giant child in this.
That's Prime. That's Prime's backyard. They're all stuck in Prime's backyard.
Oh, they've all been honey. I've shrunk the kids.
Yeah,
it's where they discover the Dinobots, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where the Dinobots come from. And
which again is kind of weird, because like we've got Unicron's head floating around somewhere, which means that we're post movie, which means the Dinobots exist.
Yeah,
but they're going to discover that whatever.
There's no point. Like again, remember Prime said this, like Trypticon and Metroplex fighting was the biggest cataclysmic event we've ever had on Cybertron. It was like, no.
And now we discover Unicron's head.
Exactly. And now we have Unicron's head, which makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah. I wonder too, just with the timing of this, working with Hasbro on that, if that's maybe why Wave 2 of Power the Prime seems to be coming out a lot later than what we normally do. Yeah, normally it's March when we get Wave 2, and it's sort of...
I think what you find is that Wave 2 hit everywhere else, and it's late in Australia, and it's probably not timed for that.
Okay.
It's time for the Gold Coast. We've only just got Power of the Prime, so...
Didn't you guys just get electricity?
Yeah. In some
Didn't the wheel just make it over there?
Yeah.
I just heard about fire the other day. It's great.
That's
great. It's a great resource.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, but you don't need it there because it's so warm.
Yeah, well, got to get the steel tub upgraded now so I can get the fire under there.
All right, let's move on from dumping on Machinima, and let's dump on Flame Toys Furai, the Optimus Prime.
Because I really actually want to dump on this. Like,
look at that hip thrusting action.
Yeah, so this figure is thrusting its hips out so much that it's almost as if it's got a second bot standing behind the first one.
It's so bad. It's just so bad. There's nothing good about this.
Look, I made the immediate comment when I saw someone post this in the group that it's way too stylized for my liking, and it was followed up immediately by someone that just said it is exactly stylized enough for them. So, you know, whatever's each to their own. It's not for me, but I can see why it's appealing to people.
You know how like the Japanese do some of those like crazy ads that are like just really stylized or something, like with robots or manga.
Yeah.
Or something. Like, that's what I feel that it's like. You know, like he's about to jump into a TV ad or something, and
I just feel like he'd be popular with the ladies, but like it's just
that poor spine.
Yeah.
Oh.
And why does his axe have wheels on it?
Because I gotta go somewhere.
Yeah.
And his fuel tank.
Well, but mind you, like, just to be clear, like the figure doesn't transform. They didn't need to put those things on the axe.
They absolutely did not.
Yeah.
This thing.
Where else would the wheels go? No.
Yes, where else would the wheels go? You know.
What happens if he loses his axe?
He can't transform.
Yeah. So yeah, look, like many of the statues and posable figures that we look at, like the designer obviously wants to put their own spin on things, and like these guys, they've got some really good figure designs for their other releases, and this just doesn't do it for me, and it does it for other people, and I'm fine with that. They can have it.
That shot if you go back one, made it look like he's wearing like a training bra or something because of that black strap. Like,
maybe it actually is.
Ooh.
But even the head design, just how it looks like he's got an actual head and he's got the helmet and the faceplate over.
Yeah, a Sub-Zero sort of face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Finish him.
Sorry, I couldn't actually see that behind the giant Robot Kingdom watermark.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I didn't notice it. Who's that?
Not sure. No, yeah.
At least they managed to make sure his crutch isn't ever covered by the Robot Kingdom.
Yeah, no, just make sure that prominent crotch.
Yeah.
Far out.
So, do we have like release information for this guy? Pricing?
Too much.
I don't think any of us care.
I think that's probably accurate. Yeah, no one's going to be adding this to their collection from this podcast, I believe.
Negatory.
No. Okay. Fair enough then. Let's move on. We're going to talk about some third-party toys now. Mass Toys, the guys who brought us the very well-received Cybertron Bumblebee called Skiff. They're moving up in the world. They've got masterpiece-scaled version of Starscream with a slight difference. This guy actually transforms into his Cybertron mode Tetrajet.
Mm-hmm.
They love their Cybertron modes. Like let's be honest. He does end up with quite a lot of kibble on his back as a result of his Tetrajet Cybertron mode, but it's also very, very impressive that they've actually managed to go for a G1 jet design or a G1 robot design and a Cybertron jet design. So
I like too that the G1 design is still slightly different, like as if it wasn't an actual seat, like F-15, like the cockpit's slightly more curved and the vents are just a little bit more rounded, so it still looks like it's a Cybertron vehicle, but the classic G1 look.
Yeah,
it's much better than the previous what were that Impossible Toys variants.
Yeah, that nowhere near the backpack that those things had. But...
No, nowhere near.
Well, like you say that, but like there's a fairly significant backpack on this guy.
Yeah, but turning something into a like a pyramid shaped thing, you're gonna have kibble. Like
I agree, but I look. There's kibble, but I think they've done a pretty good job at keeping it a little bit minimal. I'm a little bit concerned about that knee joint that you can see there, but sure.
Yeah, it's a bit weak.
Well, the Impossible Toys one were just a big shell form that each side just sort of opened up like a stingray and just sort of sat on its back.
Yeah. So this guy is called Renegade. So they've started off their new series. This is MS01, so presumably that's masterpiece style. And look, he's got the little missile launchers in there as well. It's pretty cool.
Good that he has is that.
Interesting foot design, but he does look like he'll be fairly stable. He seems like he may have swapped an ankle tilt for a foot tilt.
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think they've just put it on a Hot Toys stand just so they can have it standing up. I don't know if it can stand up its own weight.
I was about to say, like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it is a prototype.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah, you're right. He is actually being held up on the stand, isn't he? Yeah. Like, it's a prototype. You don't really expect them to hold together under their own weight. I think it's fine.
No.
I just love how they're going for this pre-Earth G1 look. They done it with Skiff. I'd never end up getting Skiff because he sort of had that big shell former type thing as well. But
that arm joint though doesn't look too promising.
No, this the swivel, the hinge type.
Yeah, I guess it depends what's on the other side of that, right?
Yeah.
But plus, do keep in mind too, these are going to be a hell of a lot cheaper than what your current masterpieces are. Like Skiff was $50 or $60.
I'm not so sure about this one. So Skiff you can generally get for like 40 to 50, but this guy is going to be a masterpiece size. So I would say he's probably going to be more into the hundreds.
Okay.
Then if they're $50, I'll buy like every single one they make.
Yeah, you probably need to speak up a little bit too, John. Sorry, I didn't hear that at all.
I was actually speaking soft, then. Good enough. Secrets make me get all funny.
Yeah, they do. I know you didn't want to convey too much excitement. It's cool.
Seekers.
Play it down.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Yep. No, it'll be good.
So there's a couple of different face sculpts there. There's his face looks quite young there, actually. I feel like his mouth needs to sort of move down like 2 or 3 millimeters.
Yeah, no, I can see where you're coming from. It does look like he's that looks a bit better.
That's the general chug shocked disinterest.
My foot.
Yeah.
Is that dull surprise?
Yes, that's the one. Dull surprise. No, actually, sorry, that's dull surprise.
Don't kill me, Megatron, please.
What is that? Is that pouty? Like, what is that?
That's when Megatron pulls his blaster up because he's been caught out again.
Yeah,
like,
right.
shit.
No, I'm dead. I should be. At least I should be dead. Oh, look, landing gear. Landing gear. Yep.
Does whatever a landing gear can.
That's in case he falls over. See, it's position.
Yeah.
He got little wheels.
Yeah, if he falls over, he'll just roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm sick of Seekers. I completed the MP Seekers. I'm just like, I'm done. I'm never buying a Seeker again.
Yeah, I'm similarly not.
Well, you can't talk,
So-
Jackson. You've got
No. I'm similarly not interested in any more masterpiece style seekers,
right.
which makes me a poor candidate for the next story. But yeah, should we move on?
Yeah, let's get into
Yes.
those.
So Make Toys has been
yeah.
Make Toys has been releasing their own masterpiece remaster style seekers, and they've already got Starscream out on the market. You know, there's going to be Thundercracker and Skywarp repaints, and so here they are. Obviously, same mold and different color schemes, but what a color scheme they are, and don't they look nice?
They look very nice.
Yeah. I do like the gold, like on the cockpits there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, not the see-through plastic.
But
I
again,
actually don't like the gold on the cockpit because it's, if you are trying to be a robot in disguise, then you probably need a cockpit that people can see out of.
just heavily tinted.
Yeah.
But again,
It's going
like,
to space.
When they're in jet mode.
I look at these and I say, if I hadn't already invested in the 3 Masterpiece Seekers, these to me look like a better representation of the Seekers and apparently hold together better, because with the MP11 mold it just doesn't hold together.
And that's true. Although they still have tiny heads.
Yeah, but again, I can look over that. But it's just that I've completed all 6 of them, and I'm just like, I'm never doing this again. It's just.
I feel like it's too late.
Exactly. If they would have come out, if I would have just bought Starscream and maybe even one of the other ones, I'd just be like, okay, I'm going to sell these and get these because these are by far the superior product. But I've got the other ones.
Look right with anything. Like even when I thought if I bought them, like they just wouldn't match any other Transformers that I have.
I think they do. Why don't you think that?
These ones?
Yeah, like when I look at other, like all the other color palettes and that, like these just look like, which is good. I'm not saying in a bad way, but like what other Transformers would you have to put with them that would blend in? Like,
I think they fit well with them.
Shockwave, Ultra Magnus, that cartoon accurate look.
What's going on with Skywarp's mouth?
Yeah, he's got a bit of a boomerang mouth right there.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. So look, that is freaking amazing as far as posability goes. You can't make your MP11 do that because it will just fall to pieces.
No, it will, yeah.
But
there have been complaints though.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, you're right.
To be fair though, I don't think any of my Transformers stand like that though.
The only complaint that the real issue is with Skywarp having black hands.
That's why they didn't hit so much when they fired, because they're all trying to do these massive power stances and poses. It's like, just stand straight, man, and shoot.
No, you say now, Mikey, that you're done with the MPs. If they decide to redo that MP Seeker mold, which they will, because it's only one of 2 of the original pre-MP10 figures that hasn't been redone yet.
I'm not going back into them there.
Yeah, I want to see a review of these. If a set of Seekers come along that are put together better than them Hasbro ones, then I'll be selling those Hasbro ones and replacing them with something new, because my Starscream is floppy and
It's
my
a flop
Thundercracker, Skywarp doesn't stand, and it's just I have no attachment to Takara unless they want to bring out a new Seeker mold. But
so Meteor is really well received, so which is obviously the same mold. So after seeing a review, I just think these are the superior compared to the I mean, just if the MP mold just held together in the chest area, then I'd have no complaints. I'd just be like, that just doesn't do it for me. But it doesn't hold together. None of them hold. You can pick them up and they'll just droop. That's the thing.
I think Meteor has been well received, but it's always been well received with a caveat of I'm not going to buy it.
Yeah,
right.
Like people are just like, this looks great, but I already own 6 Masterpiece Seekers, and I'm not going to start a new set, because you don't know what's coming up next after this. And like, are you just going to be up for another, what are they, $120 each or so? Yeah. Just going to be up for another $120 3 or 4 more times.
Yeah, because you know the cone heads are going to get redone as well. But I just, with these, there's just detail lacking. There's no, like the turbine intakes on the chest or the pecs. There's no detail in the pillars on their shoulders. Even just the plain grey and silver hip nappies. It just they're probably too G1 accurate, or too cartoon accurate for the MP line. And as John would say, there's no other characters in that MP line that I've got that these would sit next to and look right.
I don't know why they went with black hands for Skywarp, because like I don't know in any media if he's actually had black hands, but like all the people that are invested in these guys are just saying he needs purple hands. And then I think Make Toys actually said we're going to fix that. So
did they? Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to fix that.
But you go by one of the cone heads to get them.
Yeah. We'll give you replacement hands for this figure with the next one.
Yeah, but again, if you're already invested in these three, you're going for the rest.
One comes with thrust.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. One comes with thrust, one comes with ramjet.
Anyway, Make Toys. Like I said, they look really good. I'm not going to buy them.
Yeah, I agree with you now, Jason. I don't like that gold either.
Yeah, look, that only took 2 minutes. I don't know what it is about the gold. I just don't like it. But yeah,
I think it's just too bright a color.
Possibly. Yeah. Shall we move on?
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into the Legend scale figures. Magic Square Toys has got some Legend scale figures coming out. There is an unfinished prototype of Ultra Magnus that you can see on the left there, and then there's Inferno and Grapple. Now, these guys are pretty impressive, especially at the scale that they're on. We saw some of these posted by Sam McLaughlin on his Bots and Bits Facebook account the other day, and there's Ultra Magnus versus a partly drunk glass of beer and a cigarette butt in the background.
Looks like
his well-known greatest enemies.
That's a light beer.
The chest looks like a face. Does anyone else see that?
Yeah. 2 eyes, the mouth.
Yeah.
It's unfinished. It looks like pieces need to clip onto that still.
Because he hasn't got a face anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it's not painted, but
yeah, no. They have said that this is unfinished, the Ultra Magnus. But the others are. There's the movie poster pose. That's pretty cool.
Not gonna lie, it looks better than the masterpiece.
The power.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Brad. The masterpiece is a big chunky.
Big chunky monkey.
Looks like he could actually strike a pose. Like you try to do that with Ultra Magnus, the masterpiece is just a bunch of blocks.
Although looking at that, he's still got his cab on his back, like that forms most of the back of the truck or the back of the robot body.
Oh, looks good. I think it works.
Yeah, like there's no, especially in the elbow, like there's no clear mushroom pegs and that, and even the ball joints like you do in a lot of the other Legend scale figures.
I've actually got no idea how this turns into a truck.
Magic.
The trail stays there. The hips go up to where those chest eyes are, and then the trail just forms behind it. I'm guessing.
Chest eyes.
The white truck on the back probably just stays there like it is.
Yeah, probably.
And everything just folds off it and back.
Just his chest eyes.
But even like detail there inside the legs, what they're going to eventually do with that chest. I hope the ends of the missiles on his shoulders are painted red.
I hope
they will be.
I see what you mean, Jason. No, it doesn't look like it'd flip up, eh?
No, it really doesn't. No.
That red piece is like a bracket, like an L, so then there's no clips there. So how does that all unclip?
We'll go to the truck mode. See if we can find some.
Do we actually have a photograph of the truck mode?
Yeah, you went past it.
Did I?
Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
No, I got no idea.
Must pop off, like actually.
It looks great.
Looks like the legs unfold and then a few things compress into them. So fair enough.
Oh man, you imagine if you could take the truck out from under the trailer.
You might be able to.
Better than the masterpiece.
No, but the masterpiece can do that.
Yeah,
but it looks like shit.
Okay.
But even go back down to the very bottom with stand next to the Prime. I got that Prime on pre-order coming soon. It's just good he's that little bit head and shoulders taller.
Jeez, that Prime has a hell of a nappy.
It's fine. So the G1 version.
Yeah. No, I can say that. Yeah.
He just looks like in general he's just eating a lot of beef.
He does look a bit chubby, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He looks like he's been bulking.
Actually, no. I know what the problem is. His head's about 20% too small.
Yeah,
that's probably it.
Yeah, and we did talk a couple of weeks ago when we've seen the prototypes. It's just how small the windows were and how the windows should be a bit bigger.
Oh, that's
on his chest.
Yeah.
Look, honestly, I can't keep up with them all. Yeah. I comment on them as they appear in front of me. Yep. Shall we go to the next one?
Mm-hmm.
We have the DX9 D13. It's Montana. It's their masterpiece style G1 breakdown. He is looking very nice. We were talking about this. We were talking about this guy as we were preparing these lovely pages for display. I don't think this guy looks like he combines with anything. I mean, might in the future, but like, don't know.
It just doesn't look like there's enough mass to him to become a limb.
But
there's no.
Don't the cars just clip onto the legs though in Motormaster anyway?
Yeah, they do.
In the G1 version.
Depends whether or not he's got the if he's got the ports for it. But yeah.
Yeah, but Brad, the G1 version is the version that we're all trying to recreate.
G1 engineering.
He's bloody posable.
I don't like.
He is
like the where the leg, it just seems too square, but yet
this pose looks like he's had a stand photoshopped out.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
that's not a pose you can pull off unless mid fall is that.
No, I think this one's fine.
Yeah, that's good.
That's pretty good. There's some really good bot mode poses here as well.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
he's got the lights and he's got the doors and guns.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
He's got the wheels and
the front.
That's a cool shot.
Right.
That is actually really cool. I don't know what's happening though.
That's from the episode where they create the Stunticons.
Okay.
That's why he's on chains and stuff.
Sure. Okay, that's why.
Roller on him.
I thought it was just their day off.
Yeah, what these Stunticons do in private, I'm not really that fussed about it. Yeah.
What Megatron does behind closed doors is Megatron's business.
Yep.
The safe word is Primus.
he's really happy with what he's doing, so that's good.
He is. Actually, I'm actually really happy that DX9's gone to so much effort with their photos as well.
Yeah, that's beyond normal stuff.
Yeah,
he's about to get killed.
Yeah, this is really cool. Like, there's actual masterpiece figures in them as well. So yeah, it's really well done.
That's the vector thing, and that's when he just was created. The vector sigma bigma.
It's a bit of a shame that whoever took the photo didn't bother to center it. But yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
Yeah, I don't know.
He looks
don't really
good.
Have a care. Yeah, I don't have a care for combining Menasor, but I love the Stunticons and just even their alt modes. And we've had this discussion before about having vehicles in their alt mode and them only being model cars. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens.
Let's be fair as well. There is a great lack of Decepticon masterpiece cars.
Yeah,
so, sure.
Yep.
The great lack of Decepticons in general.
Yes.
But they're so pesky when they are there.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm not sure when this guy's coming out. Do we know? He looks pretty close to production. These are prototype images, but yeah.
Shouldn't be too far away. Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's also good that they've mastered the copying of Takara's kitchen bench photography style as well.
And just extended up the wall behind him.
Yeah, that looks legit. These photos look like it's a legitimate piece because of that. Bench.
You can see where the bends at the knees though, where he's warped the photo to make it go up as well.
Yeah. Look, that's pretty common. It's just a photo. It's just a backdrop, but yeah.
Like Motormaster. I need to see Motormaster to sell me on it.
Yeah, I don't know whether or not they're doing them.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's move on. Fans Project has man, I don't even know what the name of this is. It's like Fans Project Saurus Ryu O Beast Structor.
It's supposed to be Monstructor.
Well, obviously Beast Structor is meant to be Monstructor. What the fuck is Saurus Ryu O?
Wouldn't that be Ryu?
Ryu?
Street Fighter, it's spelt and it's Ryu.
Of course, because it's well known in Street Fighter to be presented with the word Saurus and O on either side of it.
No, but I'm trying to help you.
You didn't.
Yeah.
Ooh, bird.
So, what are we looking at here with these? These look like they're little guys. A little like legend scale representation of.
Nah, not legend. They're
I hope.
They look
really.
Are they chug scale? Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
they're chug scale.
Because like that, look at the size of those screws.
And the engineering is pretty.
They don't look very big.
Yeah, you could never tell there's a head inside his chest.
No, I don't know. I don't know
No,
what that
not
is.
at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
So weird.
So is it trying to be Street Fighter characters, or is that just?
No. This is Monstructor. The supposed in IDW, he's the first combiner. But yeah, right. But, remember. So in G1, he was the monster bots. They came with the little pretender shells. Remember the tiny little guys. So maybe they're making them smaller just to evoke that. But people have been wanting this for a while, so that's pretty cool that they're doing it.
Yeah,
I like the combined form. I do. Like, you know, like I just don't like.
It's solid looking.
Yeah, big beefy bot.
well, we'll get to the combined form shortly.
I like that thought of them all being sort of odd monster robots and still combining. Like that is kind of cool.
Yeah, they're all weird.
No big clear combiner points on the chest, so.
No, not at all. No, when you look at them.
Sharkman, Tank Boy.
Yeah. Well, they're all beasts, and you can't even tell.
Oh, that looks terrible.
That looks. That's surely not his. Really?
Mistransformed?
I hope
Unless
so.
that's the torso, so I haven't got all the junk on the back.
No, I think it's pretty obvious which one's the torso.
Yeah, no, the beef.
Well,
That's
two of
exactly
them will have to be right.
The hip thrusting going on too.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that. Oh god, that torso guy doesn't turn into anything.
So this is actually the only photo we've got of the combined form, but there you go. It's pretty obvious what goes where there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you go back to the beasts? Can we try and work out what?
Is that an anteater? That looks kind of cool.
What are they?
Those anteaters that strike terror into the hearts of humans.
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, what the heck? Honestly, the three in the back look like the same monster. They're just three guys with big claws. Like that's lazy right there.
I still reckon these aren't that big.
No, they're not. But they're not legends.
Because they're all got ball jointed. All that light blue tier one's got ball jointed front arms on it.
But having ball joints doesn't mean it's
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Studio Series B and that's all got ball joints on it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, pass from me.
I don't like these, to be honest.
Holy shite!
What?
So I just looked it up. The set is scheduled for release in June for $350.
That's about 400 Australian.
It's about 11 billion Australian dollars.
Yeah. How well do you like them, Mucky?
No, I don't like them. I said there's a lot of want for Monstructor bots, but like the robot modes are decent except for the other one, and then these beast modes are just crappy.
I don't know. I just want that blue one and the purple one.
The anteater and the big Clory guy.
Other weird bot.
Cheetor.
Yeah.
All right.
It looks like Blot in the middle.
Yeah. Well, so like, it sort of does, but his color scheme is not what you would
Obviously
expect,
not
right?
Blot. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Shall we move on?
Yes, please.
I'll be honest. The price tag has just killed any interest of mine in this story.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. No. All right, let's talk about this. Dream Factory is showing off a Dark of the Moon Roadbuster prototype in vehicle mode. They haven't shown off the haven't shown off the robot mode yet, but the figures that they put out are generally they're sort of like slightly larger deluxe figures. So yeah, he's looking pretty good. Yeah. No idea when he's coming out.
Yeah, because the original Dark of the Moon figure was only the blue one that was in its attack mode like this. The other two records were in just a standard NASCAR look. I'll stop that for a minute.
That did piss me off in the Dark of the Moon line.
Yeah, I got this guy here a couple of weeks ago, which is Leadfoot. I didn't think it was a straight up KO, but I think it's just a straight up KO. But it's got all the Impala and all the Gillette, all the Energizer, all the decals on it. Yeah, and yeah, I really want to get the rest of the.
That whole thing in Dark of the Moon where two of the deluxes were like weaponized and one of them wasn't, and then two of the human alliances were weaponized and one wasn't. Like, just like why? When they were never shown as unweaponized in the movie, why would you do that to us? That makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah. So from memory too, the Hasbro Leadfoot was really late, and it come with a little steel jaw that went in the bonnet. So I'm hoping they do the same thing with this. But no, this looks great. They all look great. They're like that. I
See,
want
now
that.
There you go.
They look like a really good set together.
Yeah.
You think of Death Race when I see them like that.
Yeah. And they scale with the MPM line with the Bumblebee and the Barricade in that, so they're big figures.
Yeah.
They look somewhat Mad Max-esque.
I was gonna say Mad Max, yeah.
Yeah, if it was legal, I'd do that to my car.
You'd never get the pesky cyclists in your way again.
Never get anyone in your way again, like
no.
Yeah, no, that looks really good.
Yeah.
It looks like are these all Dream Factory figures, or is that yours there, Brad, at the back?
No, that's this one.
Yours is slightly smaller. Right?
No, because that Gillette's black. I've got yellow on the wheels, so
like that one.
I don't know. It's got all the guns in that that are the same as what's on that. It's got the one thing that really tipped me off is those big jet engine type things on the rear guards. Like this has got them as his shoulders, so Tums. Yeah, well, that looks the same. So it might be. I don't know. I didn't see any. I know one of them's already been released, and it might be this one.
Yeah,
I'll have to look at the box. I don't know where the box is.
Oh, yeah. We'll check in with that more later.
When we get some more photos of them.
Yeah. So Dark of the Moon style Roadbuster. That you'll probably disagree with this, Brad, because you've always been into the movie figures, but like I kind of feel like 10 years into the cinematic franchise, we're actually finally getting to the point where we can appreciate some of the movie style reimaginings of figures for what they are, instead of just going, it doesn't look like G1.
Well, we're going to talk a bit about that with new acquisitions with some of the Studio Series stuff, but
are we? Because it's not in the sheet.
No, new acquisitions.
New acquisitions. But yeah, no, it's just sort of a shame it's taken this long after the franchise has pretty much ended. And,
yes, that's right.
But,
they're now collectible.
Yes, that is quite funny.
Clip that people do with all the G1 figures, and then when they're like, I'm a sports car that's only in one country, and then the other dude's like,
I love that one. And I'm a UFO.
It's like, I'm a UFO. Like,
and Prime's like, ooh.
Like those three cars, like, how would they be in disguise?
No, not at all.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember.
Dude, how's a giant T-Rex in disguise? So
I remember when Age of Extinction was coming out, we found out Drift was a Bugatti Veyron. It's like, well, it's a sports car. It's not in disguise.
That's one of the rare. That's one of the
G1.
most expensive sport cars in the world. Yeah, no one's gonna look at that.
I never. When I see them.
But an F1 car driving through the desert with trumpets playing in the background. Anyway, let's not
look. You'd think that dude was an idiot.
Let's not rip on G1 any more than we need to.
All right. Shall we move on and talk about some new acquisitions?
Yeah.
Let's.
That is the end of the news. And Brad, you have some new toys to show off.
Not really show off because they're old toys. I finally got Masterpiece Ratchet, so that's in my display in van mode. Again, just white Ironhide. I think I've talked about them old enough when I got Ironhide, so it was just good. I need to get him to complete those two. MMC's Trailbreaker, which was another one I need to get to be beside the hoist. It suffers some of the same problems I had with that Trailbreaker. The rear wheels just sort of not clipping down so you could roll it. They're on a little slide hinge, and as soon as you put it down in vehicle mode, the wheels slide up and his legs are on the ground at the back. So it's a bit of a shame there, but he'll be going into robot mode soon, so you won't have to worry about that again. But also got some Studio Series stuff, but I'll wait until Mikey shows off his to talk about that more, because I haven't got it here.
So look, I don't have any new acquisitions. I don't think you do either, John. Do you?
No, not robots. I just got One Punch Man today. That's my newest acquisition.
Mikey, then. Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I've been on a couple of weeks.
Months.
Months maybe. So I recently got the Studio Series figures, and the first one first one I wanted to pick up was Blackout, but I couldn't find him. But I did find Grimlock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice.
Grimlock is really, really, really good. I didn't actually think much of him from seeing the photos from previous, but yeah, the paint on him is like none we've ever seen before. The paint's really, really good. Like it's painted everywhere, which you don't think you see from Hasbro figures. And you kind of think that because it's not only Hasbro that's doing this line, it's Hasbro and Takara have teamed up on this line, so that's where we are actually getting much higher quality figures with better articulation, transformation, and all that type of stuff. So this is the best version of movie Grimlock by far. And yeah, the transformation is awesome yet very simple. Everyone's pissed off about, well, at least Max is pissed off. Is pissed off about him not having a right hand, but like I don't care. He's gonna hold his weapon anyway. So now I can't lose the weapon. It's permanently fixed to his hand. So
Yeah, I much prefer that than the club becoming the tail
Yeah.
and just sticking at the back of the dinosaur
and that's
mode.
the thing. He's all in one. Like you're not going to lose any pieces on him. The only piece that is a bit frustrating is this skirt piece. I mean, when you're just fiddling with the figure, it can just come off. It's just not very strong. What's that, John?
So he's not all one piece.
Yes, John. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I got him last week as well, and just as you said, just the color looks fantastic on him. Just even the way you're showing it off there, it just looks very movie-esque with the heads.
He's completely accurate. They're completely movie accurate. The use of the like rubberized stuff doesn't piss me off because like I mean, this thing, if you're gonna like if you get that in like if that was a piece of sharp plastic, you'd be
yeah, it,
you know. So that doesn't bother me.
At least it sticks up and doesn't have a slight bend in it like the Transformers Prime Starscream Voyager did.
Yeah.
You never get that thing straight.
It works well because the transformation, how it works, it doesn't, bend it. Yeah, transformation's fine. The T-Rex mode, I thought didn't look that good at the start, but if you transform it all correctly, it looks really, really good. So not as good as the robot mode because the robot mode, I mean, you just look at it, it is just breathtaking, really.
Yeah.
But the T-Rex mode is still really good, and I think he is. And the thing he also has over Blackout, and I think this figure is better than Blackout, but he also has a lot of heft to him for a leader class. He's as big as a leader class as you want because they're going for the whole scale thing. They're going to vary, but yeah, he's very good. He's very well articulated, and
it's funny. It's funny you say how Hasbro and Takara working together. I feel if this figure, this is definitely Takara worked on this, where Blackout, I think that was mainly Hasbro.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. And yeah, I just can't fault this guy. He's like a solid 9 out of 10, like or 9.5 out of 10, really.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there.
For a figure. And then we come to my other acquisition, the figure, 10 years in the making, leader class Blackout. And again, although I've said Grimlock is a much better figure, it's just because he's constructed better and like he fits together better. He's easy to transform. He holds together better than this guy. But in saying that, you just can't get a better accurate Blackout than this. Like I hated the Voyager class, and that's the only real representation we had. And this guy is just completely accurate to the way they do the legs. How he has the kind of chicken legs with the piston showing, and it just looks like that scene where in the first movie he turns around and you can see his legs, and he just looks like that. Again, unfortunate things he has. Brad mentioned that he doesn't actually have any wrist articulation, so you can't move his hands. I
absolutely hate that.
That does suck, but I can kind of look over it because he doesn't have anything to hold or anything. In all honesty, and the weapon is kind of the way they want you to put the weapon is so that you can't actually use the weapon on this arm and pointing the opposite direction. But if you put it on this arm pointing this way, you can actually kind of have it as the spinny death blade that he used in the movie. So that's
Did
really
he? I had to think, because the only time I remember him using that really effectively is when he's repainted as Grindor and Ready to Fall and
So
sort of clears it.
when he was about to go over and help Megatron fight Prime, he actually got the blade out in his right arm.
Ah, okay.
He did actually use that.
I was thinking about the base attack at the start.
Yeah, no. He did actually use it in the city battle.
Yeah.
Transformation's good, but he's very fiddly to get together. And then when you have him fully transformed, he doesn't really 100% hold together. Like the panels don't line up exactly, but they line up enough so it works.
Mhm.
I like how they split the rotor blades so you can actually have the actual cape of blades instead of like with the original one where they kind of like splayed out like that. So they actually
you might want to get some fly sprays. There's a bug on his back.
Yeah, that's also and I'm really glad they did this as well. To make it accurate, they did give us a tiny little Scorponok.
And they painted
he's really cool. And they painted him really well. Yeah.
One from the other kit, isn't it? It's just repainted. Oh.
No, it's a completely new mold.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, the original one was just a molded single piece rubber. Scorpion.
This is all plastic.
Oh, sweet. Yep. Yeah.
And he's got articulation here. He doesn't have much articulation, but he does. He's a side piece, he's like, I'm glad they included him.
Bigger one,
so
and goes in the dirt. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. So like he can do the whole thing where he can put his tail flat out, so he can go, through the desert.
Yeah, he's much like Frenzy should have been with Barricade, but we won't keep tootling that on.
No, but I hope they do and again he stalls on his back, and he also incorporates to the vehicle mode. So that's pretty cool that they did that. But I hope if they do a Barricade, they include a Frenzy, because if they did this, they should include a Frenzy, and I think it'll be much better than the first movie. But so this guy's not perfect, but he's a solid 8 for me. And yeah, I love just looking at this guy because there's just a lot to look at him. There's like a lot of cool stuff.
There's a lot of really good detail on him.
There's a lot of really good detail in the legs and in everywhere, really.
Especially the shoulders, shoulders above his head and his head.
And I love how they kept this part, and the way he transforms is pretty good. And these two Studio Series leader class figures have just really blown me out of the water. It's just. I'm really looking forward to picking up some more Studio Series stuff. And just on that note, because they're going with the whole scale thing, what other leader class figures could they do? The only ones that I could think of that really fit the leader scale are the rest of the Dinobots. I don't know who else
probably,
actually be.
Probably Shockwave.
Shockwave, maybe, yeah. Long haul, but I'm thinking they might actually do combining Constructicons. So then, unless they,
I don't think they're going to go as far as the Constructicons.
Okay.
I don't reckon they'd go that far.
All right.
More because I suppose they're not going to get repainted out of these either. But yeah.
Well, I reckon we'll get a Grindor.
I don't know. Maybe
solid repainted blackout. But yeah, I was just wondering who they'd actually do, because there's not if they're going for the leader class scale, really, for the leaders, the Megatron and Prime are Voyagers now. They're not leader classes.
Yeah.
So you only have your really huge bots as leader classes, like the Dinobots and Blackout. So.
Well, I still reckon Starscream should have been a leader and not the Voyager as well.
No, I disagree. I thought that in the first instance, but when they showed off when I saw the jet mode next to Blackout's helicopter mode.
Oh yeah, I suppose
at the Sydney meetup. It really works well, to be honest.
Really
yeah.
So fighter jet's way bigger than a truck or car or anything, really.
Yeah, but
they're
going for robot scale, and the car scale is going to come second to that. Unfortunately,
some people say they're going for vehicle scale, some people say they're going for robot scale. I don't know, but I just
it's hard to tell. I think in general the scale works for both modes.
Yeah, I think from what I've seen, from the Bumblebee to Blackout, it looks pretty good. So another thing I mentioned, forgot to mention with Blackout, he's a decent size. He's a fairly decent sized leader class. When he turns into the helicopter, he's massive, which is he does he shifts his mass very well.
Are they the only 2 Studio Series ones you brought?
Yeah, I've only they're the only ones that I've bought. Yeah.
Yeah, because I also got Crankcase, Bumblebee, and Stinger. I left Starscream on the shelf, obviously because of size, and the Ratchet I left behind too because I still think that first movie Ratchet's fine as a figure for me. And it'll just go after Studio Series stuff, but still haven't seen the others yet, so we'll see what happens when.
Yeah, I'm going. I think I'm going completist on this line, to be honest. Because it's not a huge line, and
yet
all the figures so far, bar Bumblebee, have been pretty good so far.
Well, that might be just a QC because my Bumblebee was fine.
How do you guys like Crowbar? Like, how is he?
He goes with the rest of the dreads for me.
It's Crowbar, not Crankcase, right?
Yeah, Crowbar.
Yeah.
Okay, whichever one.
So, Jason, you've got him, don't you?
I do.
Is he difficult to transform?
So, I think the main complication with them is figuring out where the dreads go. Like they do actually, like they're fairly movable and bendable, but there are 2 sets of 2 that are on a hinge that need to be placed precisely, and the rest you can just sort of put them wherever you want. So, I don't think it makes him too hard to transform. He's more like putting him into vehicle mode for the first time was just sort of like, how the hell is this going to work? And then it was just like, oh yeah, no, it works. And then putting him back into robot mode was pretty easy.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right. I think we're done. Done. Stick a fork in it. All right. That's the end of acquisitions. Some quick TCCA business before we finish the podcast off. And there goes my cat, who's making his appearance for the 150th podcast as well. It is the final week to donate and be in it to win it in the April donation drive. There are some fantastic prizes. The main one of which is probably the Shattered Glass MP10, the Hasbro version, which looks stunning. If you haven't got it, like, you may as well throw $5 at the donation drive and possibly walk away with a Shattered Glass MP10. It's pretty stunning. What else have we got in the prizes there, Brad?
Unique Toys Puro, whatever it is.
That was more difficult than it was meant to be.
Yeah, I know. We've got the Takara Twin Twist and Top Spin, and some other stuff in there as well. So
great.
It's fantastic. Big shout out to Xavier's Toys and Toy Body Imports for donating figures.
Cool. And as Mikey said earlier, we're looking at a road trip and heading down from Sydney to Wollongong for Comic-Con sometime in May. It's like the sort of
19th.
Middle of May. It's 19th thereabouts. We'll be looking to head down there and take some Transformers off and set some stuff up. Just like probably not as detailed as the display that we had at Supernova Melbourne, but we'll do something with our own collections, shall we?
Yeah.
So that's what's coming up there. I made the point in the group that attending cons like Supernova is really dependent on the success of the April donation drive. So if you're listening and you haven't donated into the drive with a chance to win yet, please don't even dig deep. But if you can dig deep, then dig deep. But just scratch the surface of your wallet somewhere. It's just $5 for a ticket in the donation drive, and that funds our con appearances. And so the con appearances bring more people into the group for more fun and games and discussions and photo sharing and things like that.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Yep, that's it. Had to book Perth Supernova, which is the next Supernova we're doing, out of my own pocket.
And how much does a Supernova table cost?
That's $222 for the one over there. Sydney's $275. So. Yeah.
Divide that by 5, and that's an idea about how many tickets we'd like to sell out of the donation drive. So, look, if you can give us a hand, then please do.
Yep, lovely.
All right, that is it. End of the show. Thank you for listening, everyone. If you're watching the live record, thank you for checking it out. Don't know if you are watching the live record, being a Saturday afternoon, but it's a little bit a little bit more unusual. There are links to all the stories that we've discussed in the show notes and attached to the podcast. Our official website is transformersweekly.podbean.com, and you can find us all in the Transformers Collectors Club Australia group on Facebook. And, of course, you can find out more information about TCCA at transformerscca.com. So thank you for listening, everyone. And we'll be back with the next half century starting up next week with episode 151. And, we'll talk to you then.
Lovely. See you guys.
See you guys.